Hey, Tom here with a puffer vest on and everything. Coming to you live. What have we got? We do that. Coming to you live from my lounge room, from our lounge room today, and just give everyone a minute to jump on, or a couple of minutes to jump on. Missed last week. Sorry about that, guys. I know we've been consistent all year. We missed last week, and I don't want to make excuses, but we didn't have any power for 2 days. We got hit by a tornado, but I'll talk about that shortly as I give people a chance to jump on. For those that are jumping on the recording of this, welcome to you as well. Sorry to the people that are live. I know you understand. Welcome to the people that are jumping on. For those of you that are live, I'll do my best. I'm going to just get my computer on to get back to your comments or questions at the same time. Let's see if I can jump on and do this at the same time so I can just see that. And to those of you that are coming in on the recording, I will get back to you on the recording stuff with questions, if you've got questions or comments, and we will reply over the next day as we see your comments coming through whenever they come through. So where are we? Can I see stuff up here? Yeah, so last week Sonia and I we're working away as we do upstairs. So we've got a townhouse and it's upstairs and downstairs, and so we work from upstairs. Oh, here's a bit. And as we were working from upstairs last week, we were sort of doing some videos for our online product, and our daughter was sick. She was sick at home last week. She had a cough and she was sick at home, and so it was probably around 11 in the morning, like 11 a.m. And we got Tia, our daughter's name's Tia, or Effie. Tia called out, "Mummy, Daddy, come down quick, there's water in the house." And so Sonia and I are working away and videoing, and we're just, what's she talking about? There was lots of rain outside, but so we sort of run downstairs and had a look, and water started to really fill up. It's in our area downstairs, there's 2 bedrooms and a lounge and a kitchen downstairs and a laundry, and so there was water just coming in from everywhere. The rain was pelting down on the windows and pelting down and pelting down. You could hear the rain. And, our daughter was yelling. She jumped up on her bed, and there was just water really flooding in coming in from the front door and coming in from the back door, and really we didn't know what to do. I hadn't been in a flood since I was 7 years old, I think 35 years ago. And so we're just Sonia and I shell-shocked for a couple of minutes. And so then I've just gone and grabbed some towels, thrown some towels up against the front door, the bottom of the front door, to stop water coming in from there. And the back we can't really do anything about. And all of us, the water just flushing in and just coming in really, really aggressively into the house. So we just start grabbing stuff like clothing and whatever we could see in front of us. There's we've got 3 kids, 2 rooms full of kids stuff and clothes, and there's couches and bookcases and all that. But our thing was, hey, what do you go for first? When you're in an emergency, what do you go for first? And it was surprising. I would have thought electronics or TVs, but we went for the kids. For the kids' clothes, we're oh my God, if there's a disaster here, we're going to be cold. And we start going for blankets and their doonas and their clothing and their shoes. And, underneath the bed, there's, we've got a suitcase full of things because there's not that much storage in this house. And so we start, grabbing all this, stuff, and we start this cycle of running up and down the stairs and up and down the stairs. I'm just going to see, how can I watch what's happening here? I'm just going to see if I can jump on. Do you have any idea of how I can jump on this computer and see these questions? So anyway, the water's coming up. If you want to come and have a look. Water's coming through, and it's coming up through the house, and we're just running up and down the stairs. Sonia and I up and down. My daughter, she's 7, she's helping us up and down the stairs and up and down the stairs. I'm going to see if I can, for those people that are on, if I can actually see your questions and that on the computer. Maybe you can log into. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
And yeah, so and we just got running up and down up there. Well, my daughter helping us up the stairs with the lighter stuff, and within about not even half an hour, like, we're getting stressed. We're in that state, like, you're hit by a tornado. Like, this was bad weather, and our house is flooding, and we're like, our stuff is just exposed to the elements. We're exposed to the elements, and we're running up and down and up and down, and we're like telling our daughter, stay upstairs, don't come down, it's not safe. We're starting to panic because, the electrical sockets, I'm just having a look under, they're like 5 inches, maybe 7, 8 inches off the ground, the electrical circuits. And, we're sort of like, we've got to quickly get the stuff out because we've got to turn the power off before we like get electrocuted here. And, like we're really getting agitated and, like just wrapping up stuff and getting like, it's slippery. And I'm like, Sonia, hey, we just got to really watch. It's, it's going to be, we just got to watch up and down these stairs. They're stone marble stairs. We've got to watch as we're carrying stuff up and down to make sure we don't slip. And so it's an hour in and maybe an hour and a half in, and I've rolled up my jeans over my, my legs, so like they're rolled up, and we're continuing up and down and up and down. And then all of a sudden, I'm walking down the stair, and I get to about the second or third last step. And as I walk down the step, like there's water like filling, like it's a pool where we're at. And I slip, and I just go flying onto, I hit my back and my ass and my legs, and I just slip into this, now what's building up as a pool of water. And it kind of hurt. It hurt a lot. And as I'm lying on my back, I can hear Sonia coming back, down the stairs. She's called out, hey, you all right? Probably yelled out or swore or something as I fell down. And as I was lying in my back in the cold water, I actually just started laughing. I looked up. I got Sonia over here looking. I sort of looked up at Sonia, and she was laughing as well, And I said, hey, babe, you know what? This is happening to us. This shit, like, this water is streaming in, and you know what? It's going to keep coming until it keeps coming. We can't control that. But why don't we just laugh our way through it? And we decided to laugh our way through what ended up becoming a further 6 hours of dealing with water coming into the house and moving stuff. And we've still got stuff that's like floating around because we haven't found spots for it. We lost some cupboard space and all that. I've changed into a pair of shorts, and we just keep on doing it. Then probably 2.5 hours in, the rain is just horrendous. Like, we didn't realise until 3 or 4 days later that it was actually considered a tornado, what had hit us. And there was some serious epic damage all the way along the beach from pretty much 10 kilometres or like 6-7 miles either side of us was the zone. And, so we hear this, voice calling out. I'm like, who is that? Who is that during a storm? And it was our neighbour. Let's see if I can click on here. So it was our neighbour, and this guy's like, come out, and, guys, make sure you switch the power off. Like, he's in the middle of a storm, having to deal with his stuff. He's come over, and like, we're so lost in our own world of trying to rescue and save everything. We haven't even thought about, what's going on in the outside world. We've had a phone call from the school, come and pick up your boys, and we're waiting for the rain to settle down, but it's just not settling down. And so we just keep on getting rid of stuff and moving stuff upstairs, because upstairs is not flooding. And then, this guy said, cut your power, make sure you got your power off. So we cut the power. I think the power ended up just short-circuiting within that conversation almost. And so there was no power downstairs, and then we switched off the power upstairs as well. And so like an hour later, we've got most of our clothes and our doonas and sheets and linen and all that kind of stuff up. And there's kids' toys, like there's a little Toy Story. Who was he? Not Willie. Who's the guy? Who's the guy from Toy Story? Buzz and the other dude, Woody. Woody's flying around and Mario's floating away, and there's dinosaurs and toy soldiers and socks and blankets and towels, and they're all floating around the water. But we've sort of settled in. We've sort of got the bulk of our stuff up. There was stuff that we just gave up on. We said, hey, we're not going to be able to get rid of this. Couch was too heavy. There was nowhere to take it. And there was bookshelves and certain stuff that we just couldn't get out of there. So what we do is we sat down and I'm like, hey, I said to Sonia, I go, hey, babe, I better go and check what's happening with that neighbour. Like, see how he is. He's come over and seen us. And so I've gone over there, and we thought our situation was pretty horrific, But we got we were there at the start of the storm. We were so lucky that Tia was sick. Our daughter had a cough all week. She couldn't get to school. And she alerted us to the rain. This neighbour hadn't got to his house until an hour into the storm. Now, by the time I got to his house, he was actually not only flooding from downstairs, he was actually flooding from upstairs as well. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like, Chris and Christo, and he's like, dude, I'm getting rain from upstairs. His toilet and his water was coming from underneath the ground from both our houses. His toilet bowl, like the sewerage system was coming back into his house. So we had water and it was cold and it was muddy. This guy had like crap from the sewerage system and the storm water coming back into his house downstairs. His upstairs was flooding. His wife was at work. She was taking her kids to a mother-in-law, so she couldn't get to the house. This guy, had got there an hour late. He was like, he'd lost his stuff. Like he'd lost his couches and rugs, and all his stuff was like, not like we'd got to save our stuff. His stuff was just getting annihilated. And I said to him, mate, come on, let's go. What can I help you with? Can we carry some stuff up? He's like, dude, just don't worry about it. It's like beyond that for the stuff downstairs. I've rescued whatever I could rescue. So in a kind of bizarre way, like I was like thinking, hey, when I sort of got, I sat with him and he was just like in a coma, like he was unconscious, like he was just devastated. Like he was like beside himself. And, I went from feeling pretty crap about our situation to laughing as I handled it, but I was still feeling like, geez, we lost stuff and we got flooding and this is really bad. But I got to deal with it. So then seeing this guy, and then, when you see this guy, all of a sudden it's like, hey, it could be really bad. Like, how bad is it for this guy compared to us? Like, I'm just going to see if I can, how bad is his situation compared to our situation? Like, our situation was nothing compared to his. So all of a sudden I'm thinking, hey, like, excuse me. I'm like, thinking, hey, we've actually got off really light here. Like, we're actually in a really good position. I'm just going to see if I can bring up your comments. Is there comments coming up on your feed, Sonia? Can you have a look on the feed? Life and Mother Nature always teaches us lessons. Yeah, whether it's a tornado in our lives, Anne-Marie and Joachim, or a tornado, physically, metaphysically, they can really smash you about. So this guy's getting smashed about by his tornado. And, when I have a look at it, it all of a sudden makes our tornado look a lot less. Can you turn down the volume, please? Yeah, sorry guys, I've just got Sonia logging on, see if she can see any questions or stuff that's happening. And yeah, so all of a sudden, in perspective, our tornado is a lot less insinuating. Oh, there we go, and I'm turning on stuff as well. A lot less problematic for us, and it starts minimalising the damage that we're sensing that we've had. And we're starting to feel grateful that, hey, it isn't so bad what's happened to us, and all of a sudden we're feeling grateful that we were lucky that our daughter was there. And, we couldn't control the tornado, and we couldn't control the rain, but we could control our reaction to that circumstance. Now, I'm sure in life you're all being hit at some point, or have been hit, or will be hit by a tornado. The reality is, whether the tornado is going to come as weather, whether the tornado is going to come as a death, whether it's going to come as you lose your job, or whether it's going to come as whatever that tornado is. It's really, really interesting that we can't control that, but we can control our reaction to it. Before I go on about that, and that's extremely important. I'll just highlight that night we had, like, the neighbour ended up getting his power on, and all the other neighbours got their power on, and our power didn't come on. And after 6 hours or 7 hours of being in the cold water, all of a sudden my body just broke down. Like I was in the cold water and walking outdoors trying to get our electricity fixed in the dark, and I got a little bit sick, and I got a cold and congested. Our power didn't come on, so we have to leave because our house is a threat of electrocution, and we can't see our way around, so it's dangerous for the kids, with the 3 kids walking around the house in the dark. Our whole house is now in our bedroom and in our lounge room. All our possessions in the world are in those 2 rooms. And then we ended up organising a hotel, probably like a 10-minute drive in good weather, maybe not even an 8-minute drive away, because we knew that was at high ground, and that was going to be somewhere where we could have a warm night's rest, a warm shower, and all sleep together and wake up and then deal with the carnage the next day. So we jump in the car and we start driving along. And let me tell you, if all of a sudden that we thought that we were having a bad run, or our neighbour thought that he's having a bad experience, our trip to the Hotel Panorama, it's not as panoramic as it sounds, but it was warm and beautiful when we got there because it was four walls. On the way there, like there'd been stretches of the road that had collapsed. There'd been trees and cars flipped upside down. There were mudslides. Like whole sides of mountains had collapsed onto the road, and people's cars were floating into the sea. It was just really, this 10-minute drive was like a 40-minute experience because cars couldn't. There were still puddles and floods on the road that were so large we didn't know if our car was going to get through them. People's cars had literally just stopped in puddles, and then in the flood zone they'd stopped on the side of the road. There was carnage. So all of a sudden again it starts minimalising the impact on our lives because there's always someone out there that's had it worse or is having it worse. And you know what? It doesn't mean that our experience still wasn't a yucky one or an icky one, but it was just all of a sudden start thinking, oh, geez, how lucky are we that we weren't right in the eye of the storm? How were we? It was surreal. It was absolutely surreal that we were, I was laughing, getting ready to do a Facebook Live last week and videoing outside an hour before the storm started coming into our world. And I was going to say, hey, check this out. It's Crete, beautiful, and it's not always perfect sunshine. There is bad weather, but blah, blah, whatever we were going to talk about last week. And then all of a sudden, that happened. So it's surreal, and we get to the hotel, and the lady at reception is like, oh, do you want to go check out your room to make sure that it's okay? And I'm like, oh, what do you mean? She goes, oh, there's 5 of you, there's 2 rooms, they're separate. They're across from each other, but they're separate. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm thinking, is there something going on? Like, she doesn't want to give us the room. She goes, oh, I'm just not sure if it's up to your standards, sir. And I'm like, I don't care about, not in a nice way as possible. I'm thinking, why would I possibly care about what the room's like? Like right now, what's important to me isn't, do I have buffet breakfast, cable TV, a king-size bed with champagne on arrival. What's important to me is Sonia, myself, and our 3 kids all have a bedroom that we can lie in, hugging for warmth if we need to, because out there is a train wreck of a storm, and I'm just so grateful that I'm in a hot, like a warm environment. And anyway, so the lady was lovely at reception. She was gorgeous, and she was just thinking, hey, she just, I don't know, maybe thought that would be. So we got into our room, and my snot, and I'm coughing and sneezing because I've just been smashed up by this storm, and the kids are like, oh, we're making a vacation for the kids. Kids were on holiday, and so I'm like, yes, absolutely. Not everyone knows your situation, and so my kids are like, we said to the kids that we're going to make it like a holiday, and rather than freaking the kids out that hey, you might have lost some stuff, and who knows where we're going to be sleeping tomorrow, and hopefully it all clears out and all that kind of stuff. So we're in the room, and we're like the menu's pretty crap, and it didn't matter because we just said, hey, what's important is that we're all alive. There was a car that floated off in the sea just in front of us when we were driving back home from picking up the kids from school. I don't want to say courageous. If I was dumb, I could have driven into that eye of the tornado. It was like 300 meters from our house, and we didn't even realize how close we were to it. But so at night we're thinking, hey, let's make this a vacation. We're at a hotel room. We're at we're warmth. We're together. And we wake up in the morning. We look outside. It was like the storm had cleared, but you could see the carnage outside. And we're talking to this couple from the UK, and they're like, hey, they had a little kid, like a 3-month-old, and another one that was about 6 or 7, and they looked really happy and like they were having a great time. And then the lady heard us talking about the storm, and she's like, our hotel, the roof caved in at their hotel. They were waist deep in water with a 3-month-old kid. They were so fortunate to be alive. And, and it was just, again, another thing, like how lucky can you be that you can get unscathed? We get back later on that morning, like late morning, and I go back to the neighbour just to see how he is, because he was devastated. He'd lost a lot of his furniture, his electronics, his computers, heaps of stuff. We got away with it. We got away virtually scot-free, other than some clothes and some smaller, toys of the kids and all that kind of stuff. But we got unscathed with our large ticket items. We didn't lose memories. We didn't lose stuff that was dear to us. So it was great for us. But I got back to the neighbour and I see the neighbour, and all of a sudden he's smiling and he's happy. And I'm like, hey dude, you look a lot better today. Like, you're chirpy, you're upbeat. He's like, you know what? Like, yesterday I thought my world was coming to an end. Like, I was losing my rugs and my laptop and whatever. And he goes, later on that evening, I was speaking to a mate of mine, and he lives in a 1-bedroom apartment just further down. And, we thought we had a lot of water coming in at 20 centimetres, 10 inches, and a little bit more. And I had, water coming in from the sewage system. He goes, my friend said his apartment, his 1-bedroom apartment, he had water to the ceiling. He lost everything. His whole life was in that 1-bedroom apartment. And so he goes, you know what? I saw the carnage that was out there, and there were roofs flying and cars flying and bits and people's cars flying into the sea and all sorts of crazy crap that was going on. He said, I just feel so lucky that we're in one piece, and that we've maintained what we've maintained, and that we still have a house, and my electricity was on, and I had power last night, and we had a warm night's sleep after that, all that happened. So all of a sudden he changed his perspective on it as well. He's like, the mood generally over the next 7 days here in Crete, everyone in vicinity, within a 20-minute drive from us, got hit by this storm. No one complained about the storm. People were like, yeah, the storm happened, that's not great. But everyone was like, you know what? It could have been so much worse. Or, we could have, lucky we didn't get to float off into the sea. Or, hey, well, at least we know to be even more prepared for next time. Let's go buy a pump and, let's get some supplies ready. So if it ever happens again, we're ready for it. Or, aren't we lucky that we still have food to eat and all this? It was really, really a really humbling experience for everyone, including ourselves, to be like, you know what, shit happens. And, we still got stuff floating around. I had to hide some of the stuff. I don't even know why I hid it. Put some of the stuff away that was still floating around in our house and stuff like that, because we're still not, fully recovered. I'm sure that there's people like that poor dude whose water had hit the ceiling that are still reeling from it. I suppose, with this, I don't know if it's, the attitude of people here in Crete. They suffered for a long time, and they were under foreign rule and occupation until the early 1900s, a lot later than the rest of Greece. So they've been used to, to tyranny and to challenges. And there's still people that are alive here in Crete that would probably remember, and I'm sure there's, people that remember World War and conflict, and there was a civil battle and all that kind of stuff. But we get stuff, we battle with stuff all the time. We battle with stuff that, with paying the bills, or with relationship problems, or with, I didn't get picked for the promotion, or I can't go on that holiday this year, or I've got to, stuff happens to me that isn't great all the time. And you could be hit by a storm, by weather storms, you could be hit by a financial storm, you could be hit by all sorts of things. But you know what? How you react to that situation is really, really important, because you can't control the situation most of the time. It's just going to happen to you. But just control your reaction, even if it's being aware of your reaction, because you might not be able to control it. You might feel fucking terrible when something's happening to you, but stand back and say, hey, you know what? I'm feeling fucking terrible at the moment. I'm not feeling great about this, but I'm aware that I'm not feeling great. Maybe I could feel okay for a moment, or maybe I could say it out loud, or maybe I could just be aware that I'm gonna be copping, different stuff out throughout my life, and sometimes it's gonna be great, sometimes it's gonna be shit, sometimes it's going to be life. But all of it makes life so beautiful, because if we don't know black, we don't know white. If we don't know the storm that hit us last week here in Crete, we don't know how precious and beautiful the sunshine is in Crete. If we can't afford to buy food one day, we really value that next meal that we get served, whether it's just, bean soup, peasants' food, whether it's, bread and butter that you served at home rather than going out to a fancy restaurant, because that's all you got. If you don't know the pain, you don't know the joy. If you don't know the black, you don't know the white. I said that one before. If you don't know the hard, you don't know the easy. That's what makes life beautiful. That contradiction, those contrasts. And, what I know that I can do, what I can control, is being prepared as best as I can physically. That's one thing that I think, hey, I can control to a certain extent. What I put into my mouth, what I put, whether I eat the right food, and I want to have lots of vegetables and fruit, whether I, have lots of water and choose to do that rather than drink bucket loads of alcohol, whether I choose to go for a walk 4 or 5 times a week, I can, to a certain extent, I can control that a hell of a lot more than I can control the weather, the tornadoes in life. We got to the storm, and we were exhausted on the night of the storm. The next night, we were even more exhausted. We were walking up and down stairs in cold water for 7 hours, and then the next day, we were moving furniture and moving all our belongings for hour upon hour. But, by the time we got to that day, we finished the 7-day, we did a 7-day detox. We were energized. We felt great. I still got sick, but I got sick and I was sick for 2 days. I can prepare my body as best as I can to deal with the challenges that I'm faced maybe in the future, maybe tomorrow, maybe in a year. That's, and yeah, sometimes, you're gonna get sick, because someone that's sick is gonna sneeze on you and they're gonna pass some bug. But, if you build your immune system, you build your strength, then that way when you're challenged mentally and your body's physically stronger, not stronger muscles, stronger because you're feeding it the right food, the right water, you're hydrating, you're doing all those right little things. Then when you've got the mental conflict, when you've got the mental challenge of, fuck, Dom, am I really going to walk up and down these stairs one more time? Or do I just give up on that, what was that toy? My daughter's, horse. She's got some horse toy and some other toys. Do I really care about that? Can I really be bothered lifting the washing machine up onto a table because I'm exhausted? And if I don't, it's going to cost me $1,000 or whatever it's going to cost, €600, whatever it costs, because I'm exhausted. Or am I ready? Am I resilient? And can I find the mental fortitude because I've built the strength up here? And because when it gets tiring and it's day 2 or day 3 or day 5 or day 10 of whatever your turmoil is, if you've built some strength in your body and you're feeding your body the right food and you're getting a little bit of sunshine if there is sunshine where you're at, and you're doing a little bit of walking, maybe chilling out and doing some meditating or yoga or whatever, you're going to have more resilience for the tornado that hits you in life. I'm really fortunate that I've got the ability to feed myself and to feed my family, to share experiences with them. I value life, and so I value what I put inside of me. Value what you put inside of you as well. Don't knock yourself when bad shit's happening around you, because it's not to be controlled. Take care and nurture yourself as best you can physically. Give it everything you can. Give your beautiful mind and your beautiful heart as much as you can. Surround yourself with beautiful, positive people. Absolutely, Anne-Marie. And feed off their positivity at times, because sometimes you need that. Don't just suck positive. Sometimes you need to suck from other people. Share with them as well. If you haven't got anything nice to say to yourself today, say something nice to someone else, and it'll feel great anyway. I'm really glad that we're back live today. We missed last week and I'm disappointed. I learned so much in the 2 days our power was off and we got hit by the tornado. Like and share this live if you've loved it. If you want to find out more about what we do, you know what to do. Just keep on checking out the page. We've got a whole heap of stuff that we're launching at the moment. You can check out our site, readytomedi.com, if you want. And until next week, keep transforming. Here's the Wellness Transformation. I'm Tom. We'll see you on the flip side.